Hello, this is Brian Peterson, and I'm doing a new student dialogue, the vlog part. I have some notes I might be looking down frequently, but I feel like with our dialogue, it was a dialogue at certain points, and at other times it was just awkward. I did the one about the heterosexual norms in I forget, but it was the one about the homosexual people in society. And I don't know if it was because our leaders or not, but our dialogues didn't last very long. It was very brief times whenever it was like, oh, this is what a dialogue is. We're not yelling at each other or making really awkward conversation. So, I just said, I think I take that from our leaders who every other word was, So maybe they didn't know what to say. I don't know if they were trained in these specific topics or if they just got assigned one, whether they could bring personal experience to it or not. I don't know, maybe that's something to change for next year. The true dialogue came out whenever this one guy shared his coming out experience and how his grandparents they took him out of the will and took away his car, and how it was really rough, and it really raised the point that this world isn't built for those type of people. They did this one example where they talked about the right-handed, everything that you do is right-handed, and so all the left-handed people didn't fit in. And that was kind of a good example I thought of. People didn't really ask any questions. It was kind of slow-paced. Everybody kept looking at their watches. And it's probably the nature of the time. It was like at 7:30. So, I don't know, it was late. I was there with a friend, and so I wasn't completely bored, but it wasn't bad. A few people did most of the talking. There are people who, I don't know, maybe they prepared for this, studied, I don't know. They did most of the talking, and I participated. If it was the awkward silence, I would think of something to say to stop the awkward silence. But other than that, I just let people do the talking, and I just sat there looking at my watch. Some people didn't say anything. Like, I watched them the whole time to see what they were doing for the entire 2 hours or whatever it was. And they were doing nothing. They just sat there. Maybe they were listening. Maybe they were getting profound experience. Like, just listening. I don't know if they were shy or didn't have anything to say. A dialogue is supposed to be like a vocal thing. You should be able to voice your opinions and find common ground. I think that's what it was. We talked about the difference between like a dialogue and debate, and they're kind of on opposite spectrums, I think. A debate, you're trying to win, and a dialogue, you're just trying to find common ground. And I think we did find common ground. There was no bigots or anybody who wasn't willing to listen to the guy's story. So, I mean, that was kind of a good insight of the Clemson people. I think the real bigots and stuff probably wouldn't have signed up for this one. I only signed up because it was the only one that fit my schedule. I wanted the 9/11 one, which probably would have been, if not, it would have been a little bit more heated, because then you start drawing political lines. This one should have had political lines, but it really didn't. I think the politics really just comes in gay marriage, not like gay people in general, unless they're the Westboro Baptist type or something. I think that a dialogue is important. I think it's an important part of Library 100 because it really distinguishes it from other types of conversation. Like I said, debate and having like a conversation. A dialogue is something specific, like you're trying to find common ground. You're not trying to win, or you're not trying to shove your opinion on somebody. You're trying to find common ground. And I think in college where you have to live together, and there's people from all different walks of life, and they have different backgrounds and stuff, a dialogue is the only way that you can live peacefully. I don't know if peace is the right word, because it's not going to be peaceful all the time, but at least, I hate that coexist bumper sticker, but you can coexist. Yeah, and I really do try to have dialogues now with my roommates, with my parents, with anybody I really come in contact with that I don't completely agree with, but I try to understand their side, and they're probably not having a dialogue with me. They're probably having a debate, but I try to bring it to the dialogue ground. And the dialogue, it didn't really, I don't know if it was supposed to answer questions. It mainly just raised a lot more questions. Like, I don't know if it was the setup of it or if our leaders didn't have the answers. I mean, there's no answers to tough questions like that, but I don't know. I came out of that with more questions or maybe a slightly better understanding. I don't know. Maybe our dialogue didn't last long enough. It was awkward silence and some conversations and some more awkward silence and then a dialogue once or twice. But yeah, it was good. And I'm at almost 6 minutes, so I'm going to sign off. And have a good night.